I'm Alan. I'm a senior here. I study writing and computer science.
My name is Nine. I'm a senior. I am a Mechie student at MIT.
My name is Oris. I am a class of 2023 on physics, unfortunately a senior. Last week, I walked through these two pairs of access gates, and I look up, as I always do on Lobby 7, and I see a huge black stripe coming all the way down, covering the word of openness and some signs around. I read them, and it's about the problematic of the openness on campus. MIT, as has always been since its beginning, been a place for science and technology and cultural development, not only for its own people, but for the people around, for Cambridge, for Boston.
MIT has kind of long held this value of openness and this value of like giving back to the community in a variety of ways. The physical buildings that are on MIT's campus are a super valuable resource for a ton of people in the wider Cambridge community, the students here and like everyone else, and to have this be taken away is kind of a huge blow to our community connection.
You can argue whether or not like MIT's campus should be open to like exploration by like people, but I think like allowing the general public to like just like walk down the infinite is like a hugely transformative experience for a lot of people.
You know, the gates were placed and the card readers were placed on a time in which we had like the peaks of the COVID pandemic. But since that point to today, MIT's position on COVID has taken down mandatory masks and mandatory frequent tests, and even took down the optional tests. Unless you have symptoms, you cannot even test for the sake of your own self-checking. So, as I understand, MIT holds the position that the COVID is not a problem anymore. But it is very contradictory that they hold this position, and yet they still decide to keep the temporary preventive measures that happened during the peak of the COVID pandemic.
One really interesting thing I keep seeing brought up is the fact that like students will be more secure if we can have campus be closed. Let's be honest, people get in. The closed security of campus is fallible.
So in the spring of 2022, I had an experience where there were like people on campus who were not MIT affiliates, who were not part of the MIT community, who like wanted to find me on campus and like specifically contact me. It was spring 2022, campus was fully closed. There was like no way for you to get a TIM ticket without like external approval, but like they found their way into the building anyway, because you can just tailgate into any building whatsoever, right? And I think like the only people that this policy currently really keeps out are people who like have a genuine interest and like would benefit from coming to MIT. So like prospective students, or just like in general like visitors and members of the Cambridge community who would be able to sort of like engage with students at MIT and sort of just be able to walk through the halls and like have that experience. Those people are the people who are going to be kept out by a closed campus. The truth of the matter is that campus buildings are not and will never be secure unless you have like a single point of entry and exit, in which case like you're gonna have all sorts of other problems in that situation. It's really unreasonable to believe that like this particular implementation of the policy makes people more secure. The only thing it's really doing is sort of denying access, building sort of our image as this like ivory tower. One of the most frustrating parts about this policy is not just that like it has these sort of unreasonable ramifications, but also that like student leaders were just not consulted about it. MIT has always been a very different place from like other universities in that we have this very strong sense of student governance. The way that shared governance has always been like a fundamental part of MIT's culture. The best way for things to move forward is like students and administrators collaborate, and this creates better policy and a better sense of sort of actual community.
Make sure that you speak your voice and speak your opinion about this, because if enough people speak, they will hear. Make sure that they hear. Nice.